guys, so this is Lily. Lily is a big puller on the leash. If you could feel how hard she can pull, literally, she is very strong. She weighs about 60 pounds. She's a mix. I think she's got some husky in her because she's got some blue eyes. But literally, I can barely, when she really pulls, I can barely hold on to her. I'm using one hand, but even with two hands, when she really puts her all into it, which she does a lot, you know, she's very strong. She could easily pull me over if I weren't ready for it. So you can see they've got her on a flat buckle, snap clip type of collar, which, you know, is not the best thing. Puts all the pressure on the front of the dog when they're pulling forward, which is where they're mostly pulling, right? So we're going to fit her up with a prong collar and start to teach her how to walk nicely on the leash, and teach her how to follow, not lead, because, you know, as with, you know, I would say probably 99% of the dogs that come here, they're totally could care less about who's at the other end of the leash. They're just kind of going where they want, doing what they want in their mind. Whoever's holding the leash is irrelevant at this time. So we like to change that and, you know, fit them with a way that we can walk them and teach them how to walk properly on a leash, following, not dragging their owners down the street, because honestly, most owners that have a dog that pulls this much or this hard don't want to walk the dog, so it's not fun anymore. So anyway, we're gonna change that. Okay, so we have fitted Lily with a prong collar. This is a 2.25 Herm Springer, and you know, in my opinion, best collar ever for teaching a dog to walk on, for teaching a dog, period, but also forever for walking the dog, because the way that it's designed, it disperses the pressure evenly around the dog's entire neck, which means less pressure overall on your dog and also in your hand. I mean, if you could feel the difference between this in terms of like what amount of pressure it takes for me to direct her where I want her versus on the flat collar that she was just on, I mean, literally my hand is already sore just from a couple minutes of her pulling as hard as she pulls on the flat collar. So this is totally new for her. I don't believe she's ever had a prong collar on. We're just going to do a little bit of back and forth. Some people call it a prong collar dance, which is just kind of like introducing her to the pressure on, pressure off technique. And you know, you'll see if you know, you watched just a little bit ago, posted a video with Finley doing the same thing. So we just do a little bit of like a tug and release, a tiny little tug and release, and when she comes with, say good, let's go, good, and then, you know, when she starts to pass, I step back, little tug and release, go the other way. I'm going to repeat that over and over. Good. Prior on the flat collar, she would have just kept going, you know. So the prong collar, the prongs on it, you know, let's just get that out there. They look scary. The prong collar can look scary to some people, or, you know, some folks might think, oh my gosh, how can you use that on a dog? The prongs are not sharp. The prongs are actually rounded. The tips are rounded. They're machined, rounded, and soft. So they're not supposed to be sharp. If you have a prong collar with sharp prongs, I'm sure it's not a Herm Springer. So, but, you know, it does kind of replicate, like, you know, a mom dog putting her teeth on her dog. So it creates a little bit of a pressure there. It's kind of an instinctual thing that they know to yield to or relax to. That's not to say that sometimes when you put a new tool, whether it be a prong collar or even just a leash and flat collar or any other kind of collar or even a harness, that dogs, you know, don't act out on them, because they do. If it's something new and different and they don't know what it is, some dogs, you know, are just kind of pushy and bratty because they can't get away with what they were getting away with. They throw a little temper tantrum. Some dogs, yep, it does scare them because it's, you know, something new and different scares them. Totally normal. So, but the key here is not, you know, we're not yanking and cranking. We're using a little tiny bit of pressure. When she yields to that pressure, we mark it with good and release the pressure. And that she's learning she actually can turn off the pressure with this. So we're just going to repeat. She's already not pulling as much. Let's go. Good. With this as opposed to the flat collar. And this is better for her neck because she doesn't have all that pressure on her neck, right? So we're going to keep working on it. When she goes speed enough, I'm going to step back, we'll tug and release, and go. Okay, the other way. So I'm just teaching her to stay behind me, to follow me, not to try and lead me. Good. Good. Good girl. Good girl. So whenever I get that eye contact, I'm definitely going to praise that because I want that. That's great. I want her to become more aware that I am at the end of the leash here. I'm just going to repeat.